Hello everybody, Broman here, bringing you my first ever voiced over replay. We're gonna see how this goes. Hopefully, I don't embarrass myself too much, and this turns out okay. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, here I am flying my P-47 on Ruhr, flying over my team and a bunch of enemy. As you can see, my team's kind of down on the deck, which is kind of typical of any U.S. team. They're down low, turn fighting, 109s and 190s. As we'll find out here, if you haven't experienced it before, that's not going to end too well for my team. I am currently trying to figure out what exactly I want to do here. I don't want to dive down, throw away all this altitude and energy, and get into a tangle with 5 or 6 plus enemies on the deck. That just doesn't work too well in the P-47. You'll usually find yourself pretty dead after a couple of seconds of doing that. So anyways, I decided to go on ahead and dive down. I've got a lot of energy. I'm going to build up a lot of speed here. See if I can poke somebody. I try to go for this 190, but he maneuvers just before I can get a good shot on him. I'm going too fast. I don't want to throw away too much energy, so I just let him go. No point in me trying to maneuver inside of him there, throw away all my energy just to get him. I mean, I probably wasn't going to make the shot even if I tried. So I climb back up using the zoom climb of the P-47. This thing zoom climbs pretty well in shallow climbs. So I get to the top of it and I roll over here. And I'm just going to continue to shadow, see what happens. That's my last teammate alive down there, being chased by 4 or 5 enemies. Not much I can do for him, though. I mean, I can't really dive down there and get caught up in a fur ball with those guys. But here in a second, you'll see, I'm going to look off to the side. On my radar, I noticed that there's an enemy actually above me. This 109, I did not see this guy before. He kind of snuck up on me. This guy's got a lot more energy than me. And what's worse is he's a 109 G2. I'm going to pause the video here so you can kind of compare our speeds. This guy he's 100 kilometers an hour faster than I am right now. And he's got, you know, a little bit of an altitude advantage. It's not much, but this guy's a lot more energetic than I am. And in a normal case, you know, that would be kind of frightening. You know, you've got a 109 G2 above you with more energy in a P-47. What can you do there? Well, you notice what I did is I turned and flew straight into him. I cut underneath him. I do this in a lot of my videos, and what this does, it causes them, or it encourages them to do what this guy is doing right now. They immediately turn to follow you. They pull this high G maneuver to follow you, and what that ends up doing is it ends up bleeding so much of their energy. It's insane, you know, the amount of energy that it bleeds from them. So you're going to see here in a second. I'm going to pause it again. I started, before we merged, with a 100 kilometer an hour deficit, and now then I'm about 10, 15 kilometers an hour faster than him, and I have a little bit of an altitude advantage over him. So just like that, in just a split second, I've swapped our energy states. Now I'm the one with the energy advantage, even though it's, you know, minimal, but it's a lot better than it was before. Alright, I've won the energy advantage here, but what next? I mean, I can't turn fight a 109 G2, and I can't energy fight him. Well, in the normal means of energy fighting, you know, spiral climbs and vertical maneuvers and such. So I just elect to separate from him. You've probably seen this before in some of my other videos as well. Just run away, pick up that speed, get some separation. I'm shooting for 3 kilometers separation. That's what I want. As soon as I get that distance, I think I'm safe to try a reversal here, and that's what I do. I get the 3 kilometers. I go into a shallow climb at first, and then as my speed gets lower, I pull on the stick, go up into a high yo-yo, roll over, dive back down, pick up all that speed again that I just converted into altitude. And I'm gonna go into another high speed merge with this guy. Now, just like before, this guy had an energy advantage over me, and I did this, and he followed me bled a lot of energy. Well, I'm going to try to get him to do the same thing again, but this time I'm going to start with an energy advantage, and I'm going to get him to throw away even more energy, but this time he's going to be at an energy disadvantage, and that's going to give me the opportunity, or a large enough energy advantage to go into a zoom climb, get up above him, roll over at the top of it. He's going to try to follow me, but, you know, he doesn't have anywhere near the speed to follow me here. And this can be kind of risky, even though, you know, I've got plenty of speed over him. I've got plenty of separation with mouse aim. You know, they can get lucky and get some nice pot shots on you. But in this case, it doesn't work out for him. He stalls out right underneath me, and now he's a fireball. So there you go. That's probably the most advanced thing you'll see in this video. I'm going to go ahead and continue to show you the rest of the match. The rest of it's just going to be pretty much boom and zoom. I'm going to maintain an energy advantage throughout the rest of the fight, and in a P-47 with an energy advantage, it can be kind of easy to maintain that energy advantage, to apply good boom and zoom tactics. But anyways, here's my next target. Like I said, I've got plenty of energy over this guy. There's not much that he can do to attack me. I'm going to pretty much control the fight here. But what we're going to see is that every time I commit to an attack, I commit to diving down on this guy, he's going to immediately, as soon as he sees me roll over to dive on him, he's immediately going to dive himself and go into some sort of sharp spiral dive, or some sort of split S or something. And at the moment, there's him plus 3 other enemies still alive, and I only know what he is. Well, I know there's a couple of other 109s and 190s, but I don't know where they are. I don't know what altitude they are, and I don't want to follow this guy all the way to the deck just to find 3 more guys above me that can easily dive down on me and kill me. So I'm playing it kind of cautious here. This guy goes immediately. It's kind of hard to see here because it doesn't. I don't light him up, but as soon as I commit to an attack here, you'll notice he goes into a really hard maneuver that I just don't want to follow. I don't want to throw away all my energy to take a shot that I'm probably going to miss anyways. So I climb back up. This time, though, I've noticed what he's doing. I'm going to try to be a little bit cheeky here. I'm going to sort of shadow him, but instead of just committing straight away to an attack, I'm just going to kind of slowly close in on him. Just shadow over him here. You see he's turning now, and I'm kind of following in the turn, but I'm maintaining my altitude here. I'm just doing a flat turn to kind of throw away some energy, some altitude, so that I can kind of get closer to him without kind of spooking him. As soon as he sees me commit to an attack here, he's pretty much, as you've seen before, immediately go into some sort of maneuver. So I get close to him, and then I decide to commit the attack. I'm too close to him now. He doesn't have the room to evade me. The separation just isn't there, and my 8 barrels of freedom light him up. Unfortunately for me, though, he pretty much immediately puts it out, and he's able to make it back to rearm, but he's out of the fight. So for the immediate time being, that's a good thing. Anyways, here comes my next target, this 109. I estimate that I've got a pretty good energy advantage over this guy, just based on how slowly he's able to gain on me in this climb here. So I go ahead and extend it. I'm going to try to catch him in some sort of rope-a-dope maneuver here, and it works out pretty well for me. He stalls out underneath me, and I just roll over. Unfortunately, the mouse aim, the instructor, when you're inverted, it kind of has a seizure sometimes. It doesn't respond very well. So I at first think that I haven't done any damage to him, but it turns out whatever I did to him, I got a few hits on him. I must have taken out his elevator or something, because he eventually just dives away and eventually hits the deck. So got pretty lucky there. Nice elevator damage there took him out of the fight. But I don't know that immediately, so I continue to shadow him. But eventually it becomes clear to me that if he's not going down, he's at least out of the fight. So I turn my attention to this other 190 here, who's much lower than I am. I try to get a nice little deflection shot at him here, but once again, the instructor playing games with me thinks that I need some rudder to pull some negative elevator maneuver there. Throws my aim off a little bit. Whatever, no big deal. Climb back up out of it. Return all of that speed that I built up into altitude. Get a nice position over this guy. Roll over out of the top, and I'm gonna wait until I get a nice, good position on him to dive down. You know, I don't immediately dive down on him, because if you dive down on him too soon, what can often happen is that gives them enough of a position to nose up on you and force a head-on, and I'm not too fond of head-ons. I'd rather attack them from their 6 o'clock where they can't do anything to me, so I just let him go underneath me and then dive down on him. He attempts some, I guess you could call it evasive maneuvers here, but it doesn't work out for him too well. And there's another fireball, and this time he does burn. This one burns pretty well, so he's out of the fight for good. So that leaves, once I find out that the 109 crashes, which he does here very shortly, if he hasn't already, that leaves just 2 more enemies. 3 down, 2 more to go. I know that one of them is the 190 I set on fire, so I'm going to head back to their airfield, because I suspect that's where he is, repairing from the fire damage, rearming. And I've been paying attention to the kill feed, and I've noticed that the last guy besides him is an ME-410, and I'm not too worried about ME-410s really in the P-47. Even at low altitude, they're heavy, slow, lumbering planes. There's not much they can do against a P-47, so that's a relief. It's basically now just a 1v1, unless I make a huge mistake and just let the ME-410 get a good shot on me. But they can be avoided pretty easily. So I head back to their airfield to see what I can see. Turns out that as I get there, the ME-410 is landing, so that's good. I know he's there, and you probably can't see it in the video, but I can while I'm playing. The Focke-Wulf 190 is just now taking off from the runway, and that's good because I have strafed people on runways before, but I felt bad about it. So I try to let them get up in the air, unless I'm just really desperate and I need to get them out of the match. But in this case, it's pretty much a 1v1. I'm not too worried about it. I've got a nice energy advantage. I let them get up in the air. Plus, I've had some really bad luck with the AAA here lately, so I don't want to go diving through that. So anyways, I let him get up in the air, let him get away from the airfield a little bit, so I don't have to worry so much about the AAA. I'm kind of tracking him right now. You might have a hard time seeing it. For some reason, the camera in the replay is a lot more wobbly, and it moves around a lot more than it did in the match. But he passes underneath me here. I decide to make an attack run on him. He's slow, low, and slow. He can't really perform any sort of split S or anything because the ground, it's an easy target. There's another fireball. So that's pretty much the last of the real challenging competition. Anyone who really poses a threat to me. All that's left is the ME-410. He's taking off, low and slow. Climb back up. Get all that altitude back. Position myself. Once again, even though it is an ME-410, I'm not going to immediately dive down on him. Always, always, always attack from their 6 o'clock if you can. So let him pass underneath me, then I roll over, and he does, I don't know what this is, some sort of maneuver, and easy pickings. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope I didn't butcher it too bad with my narration, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.